So you might know what crack softwares are. They are like living in an apartment you refuse to pay for, probably because you believe you can't afford it, but you just have to live in that particular apartment. And one way or the other, you happen to find out a way to gain access to be a full tenant without actually paying the rent. This is what cracking a software is, and it's what a lot of people do today to gain access to software that they were supposed to pay for, but they gain access to it all the same. This is what we're going to talk about today. Do you use crack software? What's wrong with using crack software? And if you have an idea why it might be wrong, why do you still make use of it? I'm your host, Joshua Francis, and this is the Think Podcast. You're welcome. So, do you make use of crack software? How do you know you're making use of one? Well, let's answer the question directly. Do you have a software on your laptop or in your organization or where you work where you didn't actually pay for it to have full access to the software? Crack softwares are like ubiquitous when it comes to our world today. The students is using it, technicians, web developers, video editors. If someone asked you, what did you think would be the statistics of the number of people that make use of crack software in our world today, what do you think you would say? Now, I don't have the data, but I know it's a lot. Students, newbies, enthusiasts, hobbyists, they make use of crack software because a lot of them can't afford how much these software companies demand for their software. They can't afford it, so they make use of crack software. So you might find yourself also making use of one. Photoshop, CorelDRAW, Illustrator, Premiere Pro, After Effects, and popular apps that are around. You might find yourself making use of them and you didn't pay for them, most especially if you're really skilled. You have lots of skills spanning from web design to graphic design to video editing, and then would you pay for all of these softwares? The majority of the solution that people actually take is actually to use crack software. Go online, go to a website, and download the crack software, download the actual software, and then download the crack, and then install it and make use of it. And on the go, you have full access of everything the software developers offer without actually paying a dime. So let's talk about this. What might go wrong possibly in using crack software? So the first thing we'll talk about is safety. It is not safe at all to make use of crack software. Now, in fact, there's a report by Cybereason, which is a security company, and they estimated that about over 500,000 machines have been infected by malware from just one cracked app. That's outrageous. Once a user has downloaded and installed cracked software, the malware hidden inside can steal information from their computer, and it can even go on to download more malware, making the problem much worse. Now, there's another research by Digital Citizens Alliance. They found out that software downloaded from illegal sources was 28 times more likely to contain malware than software downloaded from legitimate sources. Now, there are some websites that are, legitimate sources to download software, and some are, they're not so nice websites, and you can know them once you visit the website. You get lots of pop-ups, lots of ads and things like that, so you get to know some of these websites. So let's explore these things. Speaking of malware infection, you get to experience things like Trojans, Bitcoin miners, hardware infections, and ransomware. A lot of people complain about ransomware. It's something that has been predominant lately in our world, when a lot of people, their files on their computer gets encrypted. They don't know how it got encrypted, but someone found a way to encrypt the files on their system, and then the person tells them that you have to pay me something by any currency you would love to pay me with, Bitcoin, whatever, but you have to settle me before I could decrypt your files for you. That's ransomware. A lot of people experience it. Hardware infections are when you go to a website and you see a lot of pop-ups, ads coming from here that lead you to different sites, to just click on something. It can be quite annoying sometimes visiting these websites, but because we are a little bit desperate to get what we want, we can bear the annoyance of staying on these websites by looking at these pop-up ads and be just enduring it just to get what we want. Now, apart from safety, there are also challenge of legal problems. And what you have to know is that downloading and using cracked software is illegal. If you're caught using it, you could face a range of consequences. Some consequences might be like paying thousands of dollars in penalties, imprisonment due to violating copyright law, felony, or worse, you could be banned by the company from using their software for life. Cracked softwares are designed by human beings, by programmers, by hobbyists, by hackers, and they have gained access to software that they shouldn't have. They have found a way to bypass payment system and licensing systems, and they have given it to you, supposedly, just like that. Do you think that's how it works? It is not because of benevolence that a hacker would crack a software and just hand it to you. Some might do it for fun, don't get me wrong, but majority of people will actually do it for an ulterior motive. What do you think that might be? That might be actually getting your data, an incentive, because nobody will pay them. So they have to be a way for them to get an incentive. Now that incentive has to come from somewhere. And my best guess is from the people who make use of the crack software. It's why they make use of Trojans, Bitcoin miners, hardware infections, and ransomware just to get something. The second thing that we talked about is that there is the legal challenge. Using crack software is illegal, and if a person is caught, the person might face some serious consequences, some issues, paying money to the company, imprisonment, or being banned for life from using that software, which are not nice things to talk about. And then some of us still make use of it. I want to know why you still make use of crack software. What's actually the reason? You've seen the challenges of making use of crack software. You've seen some of the things that we talked about, but you still feel like you have to make use of it. Now, I must say something, that individuals are at lesser risk than organizations. Individuals might bypass the consequences, but not organizations. So if you're in an organization and you're thinking of using a crack software for commercial reasons, making use of crack software to make money. You make use of a free software, people hire you, you get the job done, and then they pay you. Organization, and most especially if you have a business that is registered, and it finds out that you're making use of crack software, a bank, an organization, whatever it might be, you make use of crack software, you might put your entire business at risk. So my question is, why are you still making use of crack software? I would love to know. Tell me what you think, and how long do you think you can make use of crack software before you feel like, okay, that's okay for me? If you can afford it, would you actually pay for it? Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the very end, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Keep making a difference.